Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy George Michael Perez, aka GMike, with another episode of the G Perspective. Y'all already know what it is, baby. I bring on an old guest, classmate of mine, Austin Dillingham. He's a big-time Baltimore Ravens fan, so we get into their season and the 3-3 record right now, and then we jump into the NBA because it is back, baby. We both are big-time LeBron fans, so we jump into LeBron and the Lakers and their situation and how it's playing out. But before we get into that, follow me on my socials at George Mike Perez on Twitter, IG, TikTok, and YouTube at GMike Media _. And then the podcast, the audio version itself, is under the G Perspective on all podcast platforms and available on YouTube if you want to watch the Zoom call. Well, hope you guys enjoy like I did, and let's get it. Austin, my boy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, bro. Thanks for having me on again. Been too long.
Come on, man. You already know. I told you we're going to do this multiple times.
Sorry.
Yeah, man. Everything good over there?
Yeah, we're doing all right. Just maintaining and staying in my lane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Working hard, about to graduate soon. What you got, like 3 more months left? 2 more months left?
No. Not till end of March we're looking at.
Oh, okay. But that's right away.
Yeah, we on the fast track, though, baby.
Yeah. It'll fly by, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, you know who's not doing good? This is LeBron. Because the Lakers have started off 0-2, and, man, they're looking scary, man. They're looking terrible, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, but he's looking good, man. The first game, opening night against the Warriors, put up 31 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists. In the second game against the Clippers at home, put up 20 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. So, in his 20th season, LeBron is doing work.
Can't say the same for the rest of the team.
Facts.
I mean, like, how much are we going to put on the shoulders of a 38-year-old man, for Christ's sake? I mean, guys in year 20, still averaging 25, 12 and a half boards, 7 assists, like you said. I mean, like, what more is he supposed to do? Like, he's not what he once was, obviously. I mean, he's still got hell athleticism still left in the tank. He's still got a couple of seasons, I would think, with how he started this year, still playing at an elite level. But it's just, and Brown was open in admitting after the Warriors game that this team is just not constructed to shoot the ball well. And that's a pretty important thing in the NBA.
Yeah, man. Like, look, the first game, they went 10 for 40 and three-pointers, bro. Like, if you're going 10 for 40, man, you're going to lose for sure. And especially, like you said, in this day and age.
I think 2 of the 10 was from Matt Ryan. And we ain't talking the Colts Matt Ryan. It's unbelievable. The ragtag bunch that they got coming off the bench to support, guy greatest of all time, is in the latter stages of his career, and to support a guy who we thought was impersonating a top 5 player in Anthony Davis, but he is just falling off a cliff.
I don't know, man. I think he's a top 5 player for sure, but the thing is him being healthy. If he's not healthy, then there's no way that the Lakers even win a game, bro, because LeBron literally said that they brought Anthony Davis so they could run the offense around him. They want Anthony Davis to score 30 a game. And if you got Anthony Davis sitting out most of the year, bro, what's the point?
I mean, through 2 games, it's been through LeBron exclusively. I mean, AD has not had a single assist in the 2 games that they've had up to this point. I mean, he's their leading 3-point shooter, like, in terms of percentage. I think he is 28 or something. But, like, it's just, I just don't see the next step in the evolution of Anthony Davis. Whereas, like, it's clear that the 76ers run through Embiid and the Bucks run through Giannis. Those are big dudes. Those guys have similar skill sets of an Anthony Davis, but the offense just hasn't run through him. I mean, really, like, even in the bubble, it was Braun's show. I mean, and it's continued into the latter state, like even like further latter stages of his career, now in his 20th season. And Anthony Davis just still hasn't taken the reins from Bron, in my opinion, and really become that just bona fide playmaker that you can just go to in late game situations. He's, like you said, he was hurt for half the season last year, but even in the games that he was healthy, I just didn't see it. And in those games that he was healthy, that Bron was out, the Lakers were even more abysmal than they, were with both of them off the floor. I mean, I just haven't seen the growth from Anthony Davis.
I mean, you can't really see it because of the whole health situation. It's tough. It's tough to get a player out there to be consistent on all levels when he's out there playing for 2 weeks, but then he's out 2 weeks, and then he comes back for a week, and then he's out for another week, and et cetera, et cetera. It's tough to get a player like that to get going, especially in rhythm. If you go into a game like you played a basketball game before, if you go into a game and you're playing with players that either hold the ball a lot or they're not really good defensively, so the other team is holding the ball a lot, and you're just playing defense. You're playing suicides, really running down and up the court. You're not going to be able to get a rhythm. So if Anthony Davis can't get a rhythm, he's going to be missing a lot of shots. He's not going to be out there playing like himself. He's just gonna be running around the floor and trying to play defense. And obviously, that's what they need. They need someone, a defensive anchor under the rim, but you need someone that's gonna score the ball too. And if Russell Westbrook is first game, he dropped 19. He did his thing his first game, but the second game he only dropped 4. Like if he's not consistently scoring, and then you got LeBron in his 20th year, 35 years old, and you think he's gonna be playing like he's in the 27 years old in the Miami Heat in 2013, like you got shit fucked up.
That's what you're like asking him to do. You're asking a 38-year-old LeBron to be the guy that he was in Miami, and it's just not going to happen. And the thing that made him most successful in Miami was that D Wade was that other alpha dog that he could always go to in crucial situations when Bron just didn't have it. You saw that in the bubble because AD hit that big shot against the Nuggets, and had a couple of big moments in the finals against the Heat and everything. But I mean, not just to pile on Russ like everybody else is doing around the NBA media and Twitter, but I think the addition of Russell Westbrook really stunted AD's growth within this system, because you're not only are you bringing in a guy who's going to be thriving in the paint, which is what Russell Westbrook does. He, is a rim runner. He's always going to be, attacking the rim and dishing it out to other guys. Like you already have that in LeBron. That's his best attribute in his old age is still his drive and kick out game. Like you already have Anthony Davis sitting there in the paint, so like you got 2 guys now coming at you in the paint and like just crowding the middle. Like it was just such a bad like chemistry fit, and like I think a lot of people were trying to envision like Russ drives in, lobs it to AD, and like that kind of thing that Harden and Capella had going for him back in the Rockets days. Like it just hasn't worked from a chemistry standpoint, and just that contract is just absolutely crippling to them. I mean, they've really just reshuffled the deck to like make an even worse roster than they had last year, and it's tough to watch, man. It really is. I hate how they do them, my boy, because I've never been personally a Lakers fan I was always a Kobe and Shaq admirer from afar, but I was a LeBron guy through and through, always have been. So coming aboard the Lake Show and everything, now that LeBron's there, I just hate to see what they're doing to my boy, man. I mean, listen to the 0-2 Wizards with Jordan.
Yeah, bro. No, I'm on the same tip, man. And then just pivoting off of the big three in LA, like aside from LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Westbrook, like you have players on this team that are really not contributing, bro. And it's like you see the Golden State Warriors and how they just won a championship. They had like 7, 8 players deep that were scoring the ball, passing the rock around, playing absolute defense. And this Lakers unit, you got Lonnie Walker shooting 2 for 7. You got Patrick Beverly shooting 1 for 5. Austin Reeves 1 for 3.
Most shot attempts in the last game.
You got the closest player that can do something to the big three in LA is Kendrick Nunn, 5 for 9, and he didn't even play last season. It's like, bro, you bring in all these players, and they don't do nothing to come off the bench, man. And that's what you need to win. You need a team, a second unit that's gonna come off the bench and score. And that I think that's why the head coach of the Lakers wanted to bring Russ off the bench, because he knew, he's like, bro, if I have Russ, AD, LeBron in the starting unit, and I got no one in the second unit, How are we gonna score? How are we gonna come back from a 20-point deficit? Excuse me, because that's what they were against the Golden State Warriors. Every single quarter, they were down 20 points.
Yeah.
How are you going to come up from a 20-point deficit when you got three of your star players playing the whole game? They're tired as hell, and you got the bench down doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean, Braun's already up to like, I think 36 minutes averaging. I mean, in the two games, I don't know how much that'll, hold up over the course of an 82 game season, but that's a whole lot to ask. You asking a 38-year-old man to, average the most minutes on your squad. And in the Clippers game, backcourt went 1 for 25 in shooting. Russell Westbrook, 0 made field goals. 0 for 6 from 3, 0 for 11 in general from the field. He did have 4 points, God bless his heart, from the free throw line. Was able to save face there and, avoid the Ben Simmons stat line. But I mean, goodness gracious, like the dude has to just become a little bit more self-aware in these, like it is what it is. Like the guy either has the yips or his game has just completely just vanished into thin air. Like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I don't know if it is going to have to be a change of scenery because I remember on the broadcast, Reggie Miller pointed out that the Lakers crowd is gasping when he takes a shot. I mean, I don't care who you are, that's going to play into your psyche and that's going to affect you.
Sorry to cut you off, but just real quick. I mean, he went 0 for 11.
I mean, that's tough to do. Yes, as a professional basketball player, I would venture to say that is very tough to do, and not like and end the game that way. I mean, maybe I can imagine Kobe probably had like a 0 for 11 start to the game, but he probably made the last 5 of 8 shooting or something like that. Like he's just going to keep shooting, and he has that like faith in himself that he's going to get him out of this slump. It just does not look like Russ has the faith in his own ability to get himself out of this rut that he's been in over the past 2 seasons. And is that to do with the pressure of, getting LeBron one last ring? Like he's got to, elevate his game to this, standard of LA or whatever. Like, is he supposed to, be the second guy behind LeBron and not Anthony Davis or whatever the case may be? Like, I wouldn't have thought that would be an issue with Russ in terms of like the limelight or whatever. Like he's had a lot of big games, a lot of big moments throughout his career, but maybe it is the case. And like him being from LA and him coming to the Lakers, still, I mean, Russ is somewhat of an old head as well at this point in his career. Yeah. But it just has not worked, and it just has gotten so much worse, and yet they just extend Rob Pelinka for a job well done, apparently. So all is well in Lakerland.
They want to show Rob Pelinka as the greatest GM just because of what he did bringing Anthony Davis in, but you guys tend to forget that was 2 years ago,
Lifetime
3 years ago. Like, come on, man, like move on, bro. This guy is not doing nothing, bro. And when it comes to Russ, bro, I love Russ as a player, man, because he plays hard. He plays the way basketball should be played. He's out there sacrificing himself. He gets his teammates involved.
Those 3 consecutive possessions where he stole it from Kawhi. I mean, that's Russ.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there. He's still going to bring it.
But, bro, if you're out here one game scoring 19 points, the next game only scoring 2. We had Lonnie Walker 9 for 21 in field goal attempts. He had 21 field goal attempts, the most field goal attempts out of the whole team. First of all, how does that happen? How do you have the most field goal attempts and you're not even the star player on the team?
I can't imagine Lonnie Walker averaged over 20 shots too many times in his San Antonio career.
Bro,
having any of that.
But shout out to him. He scored 26 against the Clippers.
Do
it. but look, the Lakers win if Russell Westbrook hits 2-3 shots, man.
Just
Come on, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, again, I like Russ, man, but the criticism that he's getting, he deserves it, bro. He deserves it. Like, none of that personal stuff. I'm not into that personal stuff, like talking about like his personal life or nothing like that. No, I'm talking strictly basketball. His criticism, he deserves it, bro.
He's a detriment to the team right now. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, he is making the team worse. And when your best addition for a backcourt that has been decimated by injuries and just by overall talent is Patrick Beverly. That's your best thing you got. Like, the guy is, I think, probably next to LeBron, might be the best 3-point shooter on his career of anybody on the team. So, like, are you trying to tell me that Patrick Beverly is now, your go-to point, your 3-point shooter, your marksman? I mean, you do realize that, like, in his career, in his 3-point shooting, he's probably been a fourth or fifth option on the floor at best. So now that he is your supposed marksman, that means the best perimeter defender is going to be keying on Pat Bev. Like, I don't think that is a recipe for success. And Pat Bev, I think, has more fouls than he does points so far in his Laker tenure, and it's just not good. And I just don't know what the train of thought was. I don't know, like, what the vision was by Pelinka and the rest of the Lakers brass, whether that's LeBron and other people, or, people outside of LeBron. I don't know what the vision was in terms of bringing Pat Bev into this team without, like,
probably defense.
I guess, but Bron even said, like, when I'm pretty sure he said this a bunch of times last year too, like, when they want to defend, they can clamp down. I mean, they are a bunch of savvy veteran, players who have been in the league for a long time. Majority of the roster, at least, who can, turn it on when need be. And I just don't think that, like, even from a defensive perspective, Pat Bev was going to be that, that missing piece. I just don't see it
at all. And bro, like, I like how you mentioned he's supposed to be a marksman shooter of the team.
Mm-hmm.
He went 1 for 6 against the Clippers, going 17%.
And they were not good attempts at all. I mean, they were open attempts, but he was drawing iron, like, before it even, got close to touching the net. Like, it's not great. And the fact that, like, all of Lakers Twitter, NBA media is now saying, like, when are we going to get this Buddy Hield Miles Turner trade for Russell Westbrook? And if I'm the
Pacers,
they should. Why?
Oh no, on the Pacers part, yeah. But I'm talking about
the Pacers. You're like, why would you do that? Like, what's the rush? Like, what is it? I'd take it all the way up until the trade deadline. I mean, if that is the move that is to be made, and that if this many people are talking about it, I'm sure there's been, like, a mutual understanding between the two franchises that it might go down. I mean, it's been going on for like 2 years. I just don't understand, one, what the Pacers get out of it, and I don't see, like, what their rush is in terms of helping the Lakers. So if the fact that, the saving grace of the season is going to be, when does this team trade us 2 of their best assets? I just don't think that that's a recipe for success.
No, especially that you have Halliburton, if that's how you pronounce his name. If you have him out there, he's a great point guard. So why would you want to bring in Russell Westbrook to mess that up?
No, Tyrese has been coming into his own since going to Indiana. I mean,
ever since the trade happened last year from Sacramento over there. Yeah.
I think he might be an all-star this year, to be honest with you. I mean,
a little
he's gonna put up the numbers, that's for sure. I think he's definitely averaging a double-double. And I don't know if he was in. I was looking at the odds for NBA awards. I think it might be most improved player, that he's, like, one of the favorites. I don't think it's six man because he's starting. So
yeah, I think it's most improved for sure.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you just wait and see what Halliburton can do with this roster? I mean, maybe that gets you into a play-in spot. I mean, I know that Indiana's always been a traditionally competitive franchise. At least they try to be. I just don't see the rush in that. And do you want to take the chance that, like, who's to say Russ wouldn't come in to Indiana and stunt Halliburton's growth? I just don't see what, Indiana's reasoning would be in making a trade like that.
Yeah. I mean, bro, this Lakers squad, before we move on, because I know you're a busy guy today, but just real quick, man, because, like, you mentioned the NBA Twitter, and the one thing that really got me ticked off about opening night against the Golden State Warriors is, after the game, I stay up pretty late, so I stay up till like 2 o'clock in the
Mhm.
morning, and I'm looking at NBA Twitter, going through it, whatever. And there's still so many people who put hate on LeBron's name, and it's like, you guys expect this man to come out here and score 40 points a game. He's 35 years old and his 20th season, bro.
Yeah.
And his 20th season. If you guys don't realize that, open up your minds, because you guys are living in this bubble of LeBron it should be greater than what he is. And you
Yeah.
guys don't realize that he's been doing this consistently for 20 years, since his first game against the Sacramento Kings back in his rookie year till now against the Clippers on Thursday night. Like, this guy
Yeah.
is putting up great numbers, and you guys are still hating on him because they're not winning games.
Because of his team.
Because of his team, exactly. Because of his team. Like, bro, it's just people like just.
We just can't ask him to be the number one option anymore.
No, of course not, bro. That's why he wanted Anthony Davis.
And I need him to be Anthony Davis. I need Anthony Davis to be the top 5 caliber player that they invested so much into. The New Orleans Pelicans are in prime position for a lottery pick this year because of Anthony Davis. So,
and they have an amazing squad right now, especially as Zion
like
is back.
I predict that they're going to be in the Western Conference Finals against Golden State. That would be my selection from that. I just think that, like, unless, because I need to see it from the Clippers first, because I mean, in terms of depth, Clippers can run with anybody in the league.
But I think Dallas too. Don't forget about Dallas.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see the Christian Wood experiment, turns out to pay dividends for Luke. I mean, Luke is going to be in MVP contention. We know who he is, and he's been in playing shape throughout the summer because that international circuit. But I just don't understand what AD's deal is. Like, ever since, I mean, like, maybe the psyche of being constantly injured has taken its toll on him, and it's just going to take some time and some consistent game reps to get that confidence back. But in 2 games, I mean, he looks very slow. He looks, out of. I mean, you got Pat Bev trying to coach him up on defense on the sideline. It is a sad state of affairs.
But I really wouldn't put the blame on him. Again, I think it's just the rest of this team, bro. You bring in Juan Toscano Anderson from the Golden State Warriors. You got Kendrick Nunn coming back. You got
Golden
Austin
State
Reeves.
Doesn't let good players go.
No, of course not. You got Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker did his thing the second game, so I can't give him any crap. But you got 4 players that you brought on that you thought were going to help you out, and none of these players are 3-point specialists and exactly what you need, especially in the conference that you're in. You got Golden State, Phoenix, Dallas, the Clippers. The list goes on, and you bring in these players that are just going to be out there just running around and being role players. No, you need 3-point specialists. Get these players shooting 500 3-pointers a day, bro. Come on, man.
That's like my whole thing with Ben Simmons. It's like, you're a professional basketball player. All you do, really, I mean, other than be with your family or whatever, is play basketball. So, like, what's the excuse? What are we doing during practice? Are we just doing the weave drill and everybody finishes with a layup or a tomahawk slam? Like, I just don't understand, like, why it's gotten worse since last year too. Like this, the overall, I believe, talent of this team has gotten worse than it was last year.
Or the Brooklyn Nets?
No. I'm talking about the Lakers.
Oh yeah. Well, I think they're both. I think they're both the same. I think they both got worse when it comes to their bench and their.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, like, the Nets' prize free agent possession was Royce O'Neal. I mean, it's just like the Lakers, Lonnie Walker. It's they're looking themselves in the mirror. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, Royce O'Neal is at least hitting some big shots for the Nets. God bless him.
I don't know, man. The Lakers need to do something. They need to come up with some big time trade, or if not, call Michael Jordan and see if he could go back in time to come and play for the Lakers at least.
Bronny's eligibility a little bit,
something. They need to get Bronny on the court, man, because the Lakers, they host the Trailblazers on Sunday at 3:30. They should win that game, but the Trailblazers are 2-0.
Fresh Dame 40 piece.
Yeah. Dame is averaging in the first 2 games 30.5 points. So
it's good to see Dame back for
yeah, hell yeah. That Dame time. That shit ain't going nowhere no more.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I hope Anthony Simons can take that next step to be the type of guy that McCollum was with him. Because I mean, they could definitely be a pesky team. I mean, that's a difference between the Lakers and the Blazers. Like the Blazers know who they are, and they still try their ass off on the court every single night. Lakers are just living in a fantasy, man.
Bro, they're going through the motions, man. It's like Russell Wilson in fucking Denver, going through the motions. Man.
those Russ memes as Russell Westbrook's head and Russell Wilson's body, and
that's just hilarious.
I love that. I mean, it's so dirty, just because. I mean, Russell Wilson's a terrible person, but Russell Westbrook, he don't deserve that, man. He really don't.
Now we'll bring up Russell Wilson, man. We'll just pivot on to the NFL.
Let's talk about some good quarterbacks.
The Lakers pissing me off, man. I'm not a Lakers fan, but still, they pissing me off. But yeah, we'll talk about a good quarterback here, which is Lamar Jackson off of your favorite team, the Baltimore Ravens. And you guys are first in the AFC North, tied with the Cincinnati Bengals, but you have the lead right now because you guys are 2-1 in the division. Cincinnati is 2-2 in the division. Now, the way I want to talk about your defense, man, because I know your offense is spectacular. We don't need to mention that right now. I want to hear what you got to say about that defense, and especially that secondary, because you guys are getting torched.
So listen, all right. It's been a revolving door over the first 6 weeks in terms of who we have had available for the active roster on Sundays, right? The pass rush has been non-existent. It was a concern when Ravens drafted Odafe Owe with their first-round selection 2 years ago, because the big thing about him was he didn't have a sack his entire career at Penn State. Now, he was an outside linebacker, but he was kind of used as like more of a rover and like just trying to set the edge always. And I mean,
Michael Parsons.
Yeah, Penn State's linebackers are very versatile athletes, and like they can cover and like do a whole like bunch of things. They're asked to do a whole bunch of things. So that was a concern. But the fact that Owe just hasn't really been that elite like first round pass rusher talent has been concerning. Justin Houston's been out, and we have let's see. Tyus Bowser and Ojabo, our third-round selection from this past draft, he tore his Achilles at his pro day at Michigan. He is on the way back. So we've got two guys. Tyus Bowser could be a Pro Bowl level player, in my opinion, because he's going into his fifth or sixth year now, really coming into his own over the past 2 seasons, and the scheme that we have. I mean, because he is a similar type of athlete to Owe. He's a guy who sets the edge. He can move around. He can even cover tight ends if you really want him to. He's a terrific athlete. So we got reinforcements coming in terms of the pass rush. In terms of the secondary now, I feel like this is going to haunt me for a very long time, that the Baltimore Ravens selected Jalen Armour-Davis, being a Bama boy, over Tariq Woolen, who is leading the league in interceptions.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah, and he went, I think, 2 or 3 picks after him. So I hope that doesn't haunt me for the foreseeable future, but it's looking like it will for a while. Now, Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters in that Dolphins collapse were on pitch count. They did not play in the fourth quarter. We had both of our rookies on, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, which is a recipe for disaster.
Wait, but why? Why didn't they play in that fourth quarter?
Because
injury, or
that was the first time that both of them were back and listed as active. They both missed week 1. You had Marcus Peters coming off of a ACL injury last season, and I don't know what Marlon's injury designation was. I don't know if it was still because he missed the last part of the year because of a elbow, I believe.
Yeah, the second half of the season, I think he was out.
Yeah. And so, and Marlon's game is impacted significantly with Marcus Peters. When both of them are on opposite sides of each other, one of the best secondaries in the NFL. You cannot convince me otherwise. Because the fact that Marcus Peters is such a ball hawk in the sense that he's always gonna push the envelope and test a quarterback. Marlon is so like technically sound that they just complement each other so perfectly in that sense. We did lose Marcus Williams,
and Kyle Fuller. Kyle Fuller's out too, right? For the year?
Yeah, I completely forget that he was even on the team, man.
Yeah, no, bro, that's a big part of the team too, man. Like,
I think that was like the third quarter of the Jets game. I mean, he just completely blew out his knee, and I mean, that's a guy who led the league in interceptions once upon a time. I mean, he would have been
Chicago
a corner. Yeah. Kyle Hamilton, it's going to take time. And that's the case with a lot of rookies, unless you're a rookie receiver nowadays. Like it's just going to take time to adapt to NFL speed, especially when you're from a school like Notre Dame and half of your schedule is against guys who are probably not going to be playing in the NFL. And I think it's just going to take time for them. He's getting better. He hasn't really allowed any big plays since the Dolphins game. But like, my point is they're coming together. The offense is more worrisome for me. Just
think so more than the defense.
Yes,
it's interesting.
Yes, okay. Just because of overall vibe, right? I mean, the Ravens at the end of the day will fall back on the defensive side of the ball. They will always fall back on the pedigree of the franchise, like.
Yeah, it's always a defensive mind. It's always a defensive minded organization for sure.
Absolutely, but with the offense, it's concerning because not only is Lamar drastically dropping off in terms of QBR when it comes to the fourth quarter, he's still making the same mistakes that have plagued him in all of the losses that we have had during the regular season up till now. I mean, you look back in his rookie season, well, not really his rookie season, it was small sample size, but even the games that we went 14-2, there were some situations where he would be scrambling out and he would just chuck it up for whether it was Mark Andrews or anybody. And he gets intercepted. And why you don't just throw that away, I don't know. I mean, I can't be inside the mind of Lamar Jackson. He's moving so damn fast. He just needs to make better decisions, and he needs to accept a dead play when it happens. Like, I feel like he
has to mature in that sense of all right, there's no one open. Fuck it, I'm gonna just throw it in the sideline.
Exactly. You get out and scramble so many times, that's what happens. You feel like it's a given that you're going to make a play and get a first down. J.K. Dobbins out for 4 to 6 weeks. So that's another revolving door that is going to have to be filled in terms of the run game. Gus Edwards on the way back. Kenyon Drake had the 100 yards. So we have serviceable backs. But the passing game has just not progressed.
And the receivers, man. The receivers are just no shows, bro. Rashad Bateman, you thought he was going to be the number one receiver there. He's taken, I'm not going to say a step back, but he hasn't taken a step forward. He's been on the, well, he got injured, but he wasn't injured the first 2 games, right?
No, and he did have a touchdown in those first few games, but only on 3 catches.
Yeah, I don't know. He has to get more targets for sure. Now you guys bring in Deshaun Jackson. He's 34 years old, a little old dude, and maybe he's going to help out your deep threat, but he's gonna get 2 targets, 3 targets a game. That's it.
That's so crazy, man. That we're in year 2022 and we're talking about Deshaun Jackson.
Deshaun Jackson, right?
Passing game, man.
10 years ago, you tell me that you signed Deshaun Jackson, I'm gonna be like, oh, you guys are Super Bowl contenders,
right? Right. Man, I was talking about how Lamar Jackson's the new age Vic because he played with him, so he can say that.
Exactly. It's a good comparison. If you're watching it right in front of you, it's a good comparison.
It's the natural comparison. I mean, they're unicorns, both of them. I mean, there's never been anything like them in terms of a dual threat quarterback. I mean, maybe Tebow in college and Manziel in college, but never in the NFL. I guess they're both 1-on-1. And
my bad, I cut you off. But LJ has the advantage because he got to watch Michael Vick play. He got to watch his YouTube videos. If it was the other way around, I think Michael Vick would be outstanding right now. Right?
No, that's the whole thing about athletes nowadays. I mean, they're learning from such a young age and watching all these highlight tapes and just palm of the hand. You don't got to watch you don't got to go to school and watch the tape anymore. Ask for the keys to by the head coach or whatever.
You don't. There's no more SpongeBob. There's no more Fairly Odd
Right.
Parents. There's no more Disney Channel. And it's just waking up and going on YouTube. Oh shit, let me watch Kobe highlights. Oh shit, let me watch Mike Vick highlights all day.
Right.
All day.
Much more entertaining. Yeah, man. I mean, like the drastic drop off in QBR in the fourth quarter is very concerning. It's a 6-game sample size, so it's still very early. I have cause for optimism in just the fact that Lamar he's still one of the best players in the NFL, just overall, like football players. I would say he's in the era of Aaron Donald, Patrick Mahomes. Like he is just one of one. He is
yeah, I'm pretty sure if he played defense, he would be nasty too.
Oh yeah, no, like having him as your quarterback will always give you hope that you're going to win. Now, in terms of the wide receivers and everything, it's still like I said, it's a small sample size because this is the first year that really any of them have started. I mean, Bateman only played half a season last year because he started on IR. And so
Duvernay was a kick return, punt return guy.
Duvernay's been special, man. I mean, we got to get him more touches. I mean, Greg Roman, tends to blow smoke in these weekly press conferences, and he did say that Duvernay was going to get more touches, so I'd add him in fantasy if I was you. But like the guy, he is a weapon. Like he has the speed, he has the vision of Deebo Samuel in terms of like a yards after catch guy. I mean, he doesn't have the size of Deebo Samuel. Obviously, he's not Deebo. Yeah. But like we just have all of these things that could potentially provide a scheme that is indefensible, that like it was in 2019. Instead, we're having motherfucking Patrick Ricard run routes on 3rd and long, forcing Lamar to try to find him in the flat, and then it gets intercepted and the Giants win the fucking game. Like true story. He's 300 pounds, dude. Why is he running routes? If Patrick Ricard was in pass blocking, being a 300-pound wall, then maybe Lamar wouldn't have had to escape and throw that bonehead interception. That's just me. But we got this motherfucker running routes. I thought he threw to Mark Andrews, and I was like, I can live with that. Then the replay came on, I was like, that's Patrick Ricard, the former defensive tackle / fullback, who's running around.
It's tough. It's tough when your number one receiver is a tight end. Like even for Kansas City, you got Travis Kelce out there, but the thing is that Mahomes is a different type of quarterback. He's just when he sees the field, it's different than Lamar for sure.
Yeah, and it's scheme. I mean, it really is. I mean, that's why I'm this close to fully being on the Sean Payton train. Like I'm this close.
Bring him in.
We got. I'm hopeful that we'll turn it around. But if not, like we have. If Biscotti, the owner, is very sincere about signing Lamar, which I do believe he is, like you're never going to find another face of the franchise like that unless you just happen to come upon him. Like he is,
unless you go for Bryce Young in the draft.
But I'm saying though, like I don't think a guy who immediately replaces the guy can become the face of the franchise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's always going to be that stigma and like those fans that always wanted the old guy.
The pressure too.
Exactly. And so it has to happen organically. And this happened in an organic way that like Ray and Ed, mainly Ray, were the face of the franchise for the Ravens for so long. And then we finally find a guy, because like Flacco tried to take the reins immediately after the Super Bowl and it just never worked. But he was never that guy, like persona wise.
Yeah, he lived off of that defense. That boy.
Definitely. And like Lamar is just that dude. Like I don't care if like fucking Orlando Scandrick is trying to say the receivers don't want to play with him. I'm sure that they do. We just don't invest in receivers. We're just not going to pay receivers.
Yeah, I don't know why, though.
I don't know why either.
The passing game in the NFL is more prevalent today than it ever was, man. Like you need receivers out there. Look at the top teams in the top teams. The top teams in the NFL have trio receivers, bro. Look at Cincinnati, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. Look at the LA Rams. They just won the Super Bowl. They had Odell, they had Cooper Kupp. Now they got Allen Robinson. Yeah, sure, whatever. And they still got Jefferson that he's gonna come back when he comes off an injury. Like if you want to win on offense, you need receivers, bro. Look at Kansas City too. They got Travis Kelce. They had Tyreek Hill, and they had other studs as well. But now they don't have Tyreek Hill anymore. They're still doing good, but they took a step back. If you look at their offense, they took a step back.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's going to happen. But like these like elite wide receivers are moving around. Jalen Hurts gets AJ Brown. Tua gets Tyreek. Derek Carr.
Oh, look at the Dolphins, bro. The Dolphins have the most the most motions in the NFL because they have so much speed and they could catch Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. You even add maybe Wilson on that, like, bro, like.
I mean, like, and we're sending receivers, man. And the Ravens are sending like Patrick Ricard in motion more than Duvernay. Like, I just don't understand the train of like, we can't keep running this same offense that we did in 2019 because one, we don't have the personnel, but two, like we could be better than that. Like like Mark Ingram was on another level in 2019 in that system, and then you had Gus Edwards right behind him. Like it was a different like makeup of the squad. Like you've got Mark Andrews, who's become like tied for first in terms of all receiving stats. I mean, him and Kelce are with 455 apiece. Like he is that dude. Like he is an elite receiving threat. Yeah, but like, but you're running like him into like you're making him do a crossing route with Bateman, and like you're just like the scheme, the passing scheme is so elementary, and I just like don't understand like who really is to blame because like I feel like I can only put so much of it on Greg Roman because that's his scheme and that's just like the type of coach he is, and I know a lot of old head football coaches that don't change for shit. Like no matter what, like it's their formula. They're going to do it
more than less.
Exactly. But like what I just don't understand, like, is like Lamar, like providing suggestions. They're just not being implemented, or is Lamar just not doing that because that's not the type of guy that he is? You just don't hear much about that. And yeah, our best, receiving addition, I guess, is Deshaun Jackson. Meanwhile, everybody else gets their, elite wide receiver. It's great. Lamar said he was floating, in wide receiver drills when he first got there. So I don't know what that means. Like, does that mean he's faster than everybody else that he's thrown the ball to, and it's like something different? That's not a good sign either. So things are.
Yeah. Later on in the season, I'll bring you back on so we could talk about if Lamar's going to stay or not, because I don't know, man. He didn't get that contract he wanted. Their offense is looking sluggish. They're not helping him out with receivers. They're making him do everything on offense, and that gets tiring. And if you could go to a team like Miami, you go to a team like Miami, and you got Jalen Waddle.
All right, I'm out of here. Yeah.
You got all these weapons on offense, and it makes your life a whole lot easier, and maybe your stats a whole lot better. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's gonna be tough.
My biggest problem with you is no lies were told. You bastard, you Miami fucks. Like y'all, like ever since that Thursday night game, bro. Like you Dolphins fans have just had a stranglehold on the Ravens fan base. Like you were just rent free, just living up there and just causing it because you literally got public enemy number one in terms of the Ravens over the past 3 years, and that's Tyreek Hill. Like Tyreek Hill will just he'll always have 200 yards against the Ravens. Like he just always will because we just can't cover him.
It just happens. It happens. I don't know.
He's the new. It's like when AJ Green and Dalton were cooking back in Cincy days. Like AJ Green would just pop the fuck off.
Dalton. Oh my.
Oh, it's like he owned the Ravens for a period of like 4 years. That's Tyreek now, but I love who Lamar is as a person. And so, like, I'm real, like, these few losses have just had me so conflicted in terms of, like, because, like, he's almost getting there with, like, LeBron level in terms of, like, my fandom for just one athlete, just because of, like, the fact that he represents himself and the fact that he, like, is just so, like, unapologetically himself. I just, respect that. And
that's the best, bro. That's how you want everyone
for anybody. And, like, he's not even like a fuck you. Like if you tell me to change, he's like respectfully, I'm not going to.
Yeah, exactly. He's respectful, but he's himself.
Yeah, exactly. And like just the fact that it seems that we are not handling his situation like we should and like how he really deserves it. But at the same time, like he's making bullshit plays in the fourth quarter. So like it's just such a constant like back and forth. Like who am I siding with at this very moment in time, the franchise or the quarterback? It's tough to say at times, and hopefully we get some more clarity over these next. We got the Brownies, so the Browns is the Browns. So
that's what I was about to ask you. Yeah,
be able to write the ship.
Just real quick before we get into that, just because you sparked it in my brain, the only reason why he's doing bullshit plays in the fourth quarter is because, like I said, he has no one to help him out on offense except for Mark Andrews. And in the fourth quarter, Mark Andrews is getting covered by a linebacker and a safety is overwatching it. So yeah. What are you going to do when you're Lamar Jackson? You're like, well, I guess I got to run and try to make some plays because if not, we're not going to win. We're not going to win if I don't make any plays.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, hopefully the defense can, now that they're fully healthy, maybe we'll see a big turnaround from them in terms of pass rush and whatever. I don't think it's likely, but could happen. You never know. Yeah, I mean, hopefully
got the Browns, bro.
Same expectations a little bit in terms of like what this offense could do until they're fully healthy again. Like I'm talking like a lot of guys are working their way back, like a Ronnie Stanley, for instance, and a Gus Edwards. But like when the squad is fully healthy and operating on all cylinders, then we can make our judgments, So like Ed Reed said in his Instagram live, just stay patient, man. This fan base is getting toxic real quick. And we just need to just pump the brakes a little bit. RELAX, relax.
Well, you got the Browns on Sunday. You guys host them.
Get right game.
Real quick, give me your prediction on that.
So I think Ravens defense in terms of the rush, stopping the rush is still that's still the standard.
Chubb,
run. Listen, I think you're going to be introduced to Justin Madubuike and Patrick Queen. I think they're going to have a big game. I think that the secondary definitely is going to stand firm against this Browns passing attack. I mean, all we got to stop is Amari Cooper and take our chances with everybody else. But I predict a 24-20. In that range, that kind of victory, maybe 24-17. Maybe the Browns get an extra field goal in there. We'll see.
Yeah, I got the Ravens winning on two reasons. One, they have traded wins and losses throughout the whole year. So they won the first week, second week, lost, win, lost, win, lost. So now it's time for them to win. And then second, I don't trust Jacoby Brissett for shit.
Yeah,
I think he's ass, but obviously he's not ass enough because he's in the NFL. But I think compared to other quarterbacks and compared to the defense that he's going to be playing against, I don't think Jacoby's going to have it. I think the Cleveland loses, maybe by a field goal. I think Justin Tucker's going to be the hero in that game, like he is in a lot of games.
Yeah.
So I think Ravens win that for sure.
This game is going to be very important because the next two games couldn't be more of wild cards to me. Those next two games after Cleveland this Sunday are next Thursday in Tampa and the following Monday in New Orleans. Yep. So, and I believe the Steelers are after that.
A bye week.
Bye week and then the Steelers.
And then the Panthers, Jaguars, Broncos, then Steelers.
Where the hell do we play the Steelers?
Week 14.
What?
And then,
That's
week 14 and week 17.
This is like the most like weirdly balanced schedule, like in terms of like there is balance and for the time frame perspective, but like we got the Steelers twice in the last 3 weeks.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, shouldn't it be like the first half of the season before your bye, like you should play your divisional opponents, and then the end you play your divisional opponents again? Like, shouldn't it be like that? Like, especially you're trying to fight for a playoff spot. Like,
first 4 games that we have were all AFC East. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah. No, I think that's how they're setting it up now. Like with the Cowboys, the next 3 games against Detroit, then Green Bay Packers, then Minnesota Vikings, and then we have a bye week. I guess this is how they're doing it. But.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, those next 2, I mean, we lead into a bye week, so we should go 3-0 in those games with how the Bucs are looking and with how the Saints have been looking. Like we should go 3-0 in those games. We should be able to run the ball on both teams, on all 3 of these teams coming up, and defense should be able to handle what those offenses can give us. But with the way this team has gone up. I mean, let's see. That's a stat that is just going to haunt me forever. First 6 games of a season, 39 teams have had double-digit leads, and the Ravens are the only team out of those 39 to not have a winning record. Yeah.
No, like I said, bro, the wins loss. So
you are what your record says he is right now. Like, and I'm tired of these Ravens pundits talking about this team should be 6-0. We're not. It's 3-3.
3-3. I mean, you're still there though. First in the division. Still there.
Yeah, I mean that's the bitch about having parity in the NFL. All these teams are going to beat each other up, and sometimes there's a runaway victor. You know, with
most times there's not
in that this year. But most of these divisions going to, cannibalize themselves, and whoever is limping out the pack when it comes to playoff time, maybe you can get hot and get on a run. We shall see.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I'm gonna have you back on so we can talk about more about Lamar and the Ravens. But guys, follow me on my socials at Twitter at GeorgeMike Perez, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at GMike Media _, and then the audio version of the podcast, the G Perspective, on all podcast platforms, and you can catch it on YouTube as well. Austin, thank you, bro. Thank you again for your time, man. I know you're a busy dude, but for sure we're gonna do another episode. Maybe after the bye week. Maybe bye week we'll talk a little more around.
Need something to do. I appreciate you, bro. Thanks for having me on, man. As always. Looking forward to the next opportunity. Mr. George, Mr. G Mike.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.